Hello, I am Challen, the Edgy Skater, and this is sort of a follow-up video to my latest one in how to talk to your coach about the goal setting and expectations. How to make sure you guys are on the same page, what to do when you're not, what to do when expectations are maybe not set high enough or were set a little too high, things of that nature. And I sort of wanted to create a separate video to kind of be companion with it and to talk about getting the most of your time with your coach and by extension your practice sessions because they kind of go hand in hand. And sometimes that takes a certain kind of discussion. And this video is going to apply more to people who are not taking their lessons more casually, but who are have a bit more of a serious objective with their skating. They either have certain goals and deadlines that they've given themselves to try to do certain things in, or as close to as possible, or people who are just like, coaches is expensive. Ice time is expensive. Club ice is more expensive than, normal ice time is expensive. And, you know, ways of how to talk to your coach in lessons to get the most out of the lessons so that they can be as efficient as possible and so your practices can become as efficient as possible to help with those goals and to keep up with those expectations. Okay, so like I said, this is not so much for the casual adult skater, but there's probably things that even you, a more casual person, can take away from this video to still help you. But for the not so casual adult skater, let's get right into it. So I have a trusty list again. All right. How to talk about furthering your journey to get the most out of you and their time. Because let's be honest, your time is very valuable. Let's let's just get this right out of the way now. You're an adult, okay? You have adult responsibilities. You make adult money. You have adult expenses. You are choosing to take time out of your very precious and busy schedule to allot some of your very hard earned resources to this thing called figure skating. And it's presumably because it gives you enough joy, the trade off of time and expenses is worth it. Okay. The coach is someone who is dedicating their time and expertise, um, hopefully, to impart the benefit of that knowledge and experience to someone who really will appreciate it and run with it and lap it up. You know, hopefully, you've got a coach who is excited about skating and passing this kind of information on. That's what we want. Passionate skaters with passionate coaches. So, because everyone's time is valuable and it is finite in a day, and we maybe don't have as much time to skate and train on and off ice as we'd like, we need to make that limited time as efficient as possible. The best way to do this is to get very regimented about what you do. And actually, some of the things in this video are going to help you, particularly for like competition practice as well. So it's gonna help a bit with that, even test warm up. So, number one thing, when you get to the rink, be prepared to work. Yes, it is fun. Yes, it is enjoyable. But to make the progress like you want, you're going to have to work at it. So I don't want you to think it's like going to another job and like, another job sense. But we are going to put forth a lot of strategically applied effort and physical strain towards something. It's going to be a lot of manual physical work. And we need to be in the mindset of, okay, whatever sort of drama or issues or anything else, it gets left at the rink door. And as soon as you enter those rink doors, it is time to work. One of the first things you can do is talk to your coach about creating a off-ice routine just to get warmed up. This will probably only be 5, maybe 15 minutes long. But have your coach create for you. As soon as you get to the rink, you put your skate bag and everything down. What are the most efficient warm-up exercises applicable for your level, um, physical level, and skating skill level that you can go straight into for 5 to 10, maybe 15 minutes, virtually nonstop, to get every major area of your body properly warmed up and prepared for whatever you're going to do on the ice. Because one of the worst things you can do, and one of the most dangerous things you can do, is to go into a cold environment, cold, and then try to do stretching things out of nowhere. That's It's a recipe for disaster, and it's only a matter of time before there are injury problems. It's not if there'll be problems, it's when there'll be problems. So, what you want to do is get initially warmed up. What I mean by this is get your heart pumping, get cardio up, get blood circulating everywhere. We're not going to do heavy duty stretching at this point, not really. This is about circulation right now. This might include jump rope. This even if you don't have a jump rope, pretending you have one. This might be walking lunges, maybe forward and backward, or different variations of lunges. This could be jumping jacks. It could be working on squats. There's a bunch of things that this can entail, and your coach is going to appreciate the initiative of you asking them what you can do in this condensed amount of time. And then, as soon as whatever these exercises are, they are done, learning to put your skates on, and this might take practice, but learning to put your skates on and tie it just the way you like them in about 5 minutes. Why 5 minutes? It's going to cut down on time. It's going to train you to know exactly how you like the tension in the laces over what part of your foot, and to just automatically, I have my skates, I gotta put them on. I tie them consistently this way every time, and it's all right to go. I'm not going to get on the ice and need to immediately readjust the laces. It's it's going to take trial and error, but it's going to train you to get to the point of getting it just right, so that when you get out on the ice in 5-10 minutes, you're not retying your laces. All right. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to ask your coach for a body and level appropriate on ice warm up you can do, which may include, if you're ready for it, board stretches. The board stretches will probably come after the on ice warm up. It probably won't be in the middle of it. It'll probably come after this warm up, and this warm up will also be um, under 10 minutes. And it's going to be very much like the off ice warm up, where it's just go, 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 go. There's not a whole lot of break. You are getting your sea legs back under you, but this is about cardio. One of the other reasons we want to tie the skates fast is we just did off ice cardio. We don't want the body to cool down too much and the muscles get cold and stiff again. We want to be as warm as possible when we get back on the ice, so then when we're on the ice, we can just attack the warm up session, and we still have all this circulation still going at an elevated level. Then, and only then, when you are sufficiently warmed up, if you have the flexibility and your coach deems you are ready, that is when you would go into stretching at the boards. Now, there is this whole thing where a lot of times this is imitating certain stretches that ballerinas would do with the ballet bar. And a lot of times skaters are just copying the aesthetic of these stretches. They're not actually doing what the ballerinas at the bar would be doing. And this is a reason why I really encourage you, if you can, to take ballet classes. And then you can literally do what you're supposed to do at the bar at the rinkside barrier. Imitating the stretches maybe could look impressive depending what it is, But if you're not doing the stretches right, if you don't understand what the stretch actually is, you're potentially wasting your time, or you're not actually stretching the body and preparing it in a way that is going to be most advantageous to preventing injuries. And your coach should hopefully know how to stretch properly at the barrier without just imitating a ballet position at the barrier. Not all coaches know this, so to cover your bases, this is where it is good to take a ballet bar class. At least ballet bar. If nothing else, ballet bar. Okay, so you've got your off ice warm up, you put your skates on nice and fast, you did your warm up, maybe stretch at the bar, barrier. You shouldn't need to tie the skates again, but if you do, do it quick. Now, from there, because you've ran through cardio exercises, now you can start getting into different skills you're working on. So, in the very beginning, when you are learning things like stroking, your swizzles, your slaloms, forward and backward, things like that, those are technically power skating moves. Power skating is cardio skating. So, that might be your warm up. That it might simultaneously be the things you're working on and also your warm up. Um, if it's not, if you don't know how to do all those things yet, you might end up just doing things like going around the rink increasingly faster and faster in different kinds of arm movements, or getting used to balancing on one leg, switching quickly between legs, getting used to the feeling of inside and outside edges alternating at different speeds. It's helpful to kind of mess with the tempo and the cadence of these moves. It helps keeps you sharp. It keeps you prepared. It awakens your reflexes for your own skating, but also to look out for others and make last second change of direction stuff if you need to. Um, so that is what you're going to go into, and then after all that is done, then you're going to start working on the other elements that you are training. So maybe you're learning to do your inside and outside edges on a line or up and down the rink. So now we're transitioning more from power skating into edge work skating. Edge work isn't about cardio so much, it's about detail. Yes, there can be overlap between power skating and edge work. They borrow from each other a bit, but generally speaking, a stroking class or power skating class is going to be cardio focused, and an edge skating class is going to be very detail edge quality focus, less about speed and power, more about the precision and control, and very precise alignments over the skate through the upper body. So if you're learning three turns, mohawks, things like that, that would be the time to start getting into those kinds of steps. If you are working on spins, I, unless you just feel like it, I would say get the skating skills done first, and so you're very awake, very sharp, and then if you can handle the dizziness, or you don't really get too dizzy, you can either go into your spins or you can go into your jumps. And you're going to ask your coach what order they want you to do these things in. And you probably have a certain spin progression, certain jump progression, so you don't need to necessarily ask them what order of them to do them in within themselves. But if you should be doing jumps or spins first, or if they care. So long as you get them both done in a session, the coach might not actually care that much. Um, and in this is going to be all of your exercises. So if you're working on 2-foot spin from pivot, then the pivot portion is going to come first. Maybe your warm-up pivots just by themselves before even going straight into spin position with them, trying to get a spin at the end of them. So broken down things like that. You want to ask your coach how you can be most efficient to keep your heart rate up, but also make the most. If you have a 50 or 45-minute session and you have all these things to cover, how much time do they want you dedicating to each of these blocks of things? The warm up, the different kind of edge work focused things, the jumps, the spins, a program if you have one, have them block it. And then in your skating notebook or journal, if you have one, you're going to write what the session is, write out what these blocks are, keep track of how much you did a particular thing in the allotted amount of time, and then when that time is up, if it's like 15 minutes on spins, even if the spin isn't necessarily perfect, it might be good to take a break. Time's up anyways. Work on the jumps. If you have time afterwards, maybe go back to the spin. Different priority things will affect this, but it's how you, in a very structured way, keep working down the list so you cover everything in the limited amount of on ice practice time you have. And a lot of skaters don't actually train like this, so when they get out on the ice, they don't necessarily know what they're going to be doing next. Or they know all the things they have to do, but it's not organized in their mind how to go through them. So they might end up spending a disproportionate, unintended amount of time on something that they didn't mean to, or it's not that consequential for their overall skating progression. Or maybe they really like the thing and they didn't realize how much they were avoiding something they didn't like. This is a good way to try to even that out. And, between your notes of how things are going and how quickly you can warm up through things, that can also help give the coach feedback on if we need to change the allotment of times for things. If you can skate multiple sessions in a day, you might have an entire session dedicated to edge work and power skating or your skating skills or maybe your compulsory dances. And you might have another session that is jumps and spins, maybe program if you have it only. So these things can be broken up in a bunch of different ways. You might have it where you skate 3 sessions a week. So one of those sessions is dedicated to the power and edge skating drills and different turns and patterns. And then the other 2 sessions are split between jumps and spins. And maybe one of those has an extra amount of time dedicated to running through programs. There's all different kinds of ways these can be broken up, but it's going to be much more efficient for you than just going to the rink, not really sure what to do next, or not really sure exactly what you feel like, or getting stuck in a rut because something isn't going well, so you're fighting with it now, and time is slipping away, and you're not able to do things that might be going a lot better for you that day, but you don't know because you didn't get to them. So, you know, ask your coach about the ways you can maximize your practice time. This is going to help maximize your lesson time because they'll know what needs addressing most, or they'll give you specific tools or exercises, let's say Walsh jump exercises. Now, when you go to your practice, you know the most essential things you need to do to prepare for the Walsh jump before you even start just practicing the Walsh jump itself. That can help make the Walsh jump training more efficient. Because of this, your coach knows how much time you're spending on things. When they get to lessons, they know, okay, this is coming along all right. This skater's good enough to keep doing what they're doing on their own. Let's focus on maybe backspin. Backspin seems like it's struggling in these sessions, even though it's getting this amount of time. This needs more focus than maybe that jump or that other spin. So it helps being organized for you and your coach. And you can always ask your coach ways to make this more optimally efficient. If certain exercises aren't working, this can also help make it more clear faster. That practicing that entrance this way, it's not working. Or when I go to do, these inside 3 turns, I'm having this upper body issue that's not as prevalent on the outside 3 turns. It can it's not that these things won't be apparent anyways, but this will make it more highlighted apparent. So then your coach can really zero in and target things because they know all the things are being practiced. I feel like that was like really powered through just getting all the words out. But that is a good way to approach things and talk with your coach to keep the dialogue going of what's working, what's not, what needs more attention, what's pretty good as is, um, identifying strengths and weaknesses essentially. And then you can ask them, okay, buzzer went off, time to get off the ice. You're going to want at least another 10, maybe 15-minute cool down session because you've been going pretty hard theoretically for the ice time and maybe 20 minutes before the ice time. So we don't want to just suddenly stop all activity. And now that we are super warmed up, that's actually when is the best time to do more of the deep stretching, where we're not just stretching to awaken mobility, but we're really stretching to increase mobility, um, increase range of motion. So ask your coach about a cooling down slash stretching routine. They're technically two separate things, so you want to ask for both cool down slash stretching routine. And you'll typically take your skates off before you do this. I don't imagine you'll be given too many things to do that include your skates on. So you get off the ice, take the skates off real quick, dry them real quick initially. You'd get into this. Maybe check the blades one more time before you leave, see if they need any more condensation wiped down, or at least wipe them off when you get home. But this is a very professional, very structured way to make sure that you are making the most of every session. Again, not for the casual skater so much, although you can borrow bits and pieces of these things. Even if you go about it maybe slower or more ease into it. And if you haven't been skating in a while, you don't want to just start from 0 to 100 with this. So this is another way we want it to be body appropriate, not just level appropriate. If you haven't done any of these things in years, you don't want to just try to mimic, the this regiment routine you had when you were in your skating prime, however many years ago. Um, and I found that when it comes to building tolerance, slow and steady is faster than just trying to jump straight in, being very intense. And that's something to give your coach feedback. If you are struggling with recovery because this is too intense too fast, that is excellent feedback for them to know what to dial down so that you don't get injured or lose stamina or start to burn out. And that's again something else. If you have a skating journal that's more about thoughts and feelings, you can record your experiences in that book. So then you can be aware of, again, what you're thinking and feeling about all this other stuff. And then you can have that kind of back and forth. Okay, what do we tweak? How fast do we pace this? How fast do we build it up? Do we need to keep it at just this pace for a while? Um, was recovery more of an issue when we started adding XYZ? Or is it just I started off fine, but after a few weeks of doing this, I'm just having a hard time keeping up with it? That's kind of very valuable information. And that can help inform further off ice training decisions if we need to bring in other types of professionals or not, or when. And it makes the coach's job a lot easier. It makes you more informed about your own processes as a skater, and it's again stuff to help you figure out are am I and my coach on the same page or not? Do we have the same goals and ideas of what it takes to get to those goals? Can I handle this? Do we need to be adjusted, or actually is it too easy? Do we need to make it more intense, more challenging? It can always get more challenging. So I hope that this is a good um like companion video to the goal setting and expectation and ways to talk to your coach. Um if there's anything that anybody wants to add to either of these videos to make them even better, because I'm sure that there's still lots of advice and suggestions that I didn't even think to put in them. please feel free to do so. Comment on both the videos. The more information and knowledge shared, the better. I hope you have a good day and have a good skate.